Hey guys, how are you? It's Wednesday. Welcome to Real Simple Cooking School. I'm Dawn, the food director here, and today we're talking about eggs. Specifically, we're gonna hard boil, soft boil, medium boil, and we're gonna poach. I think you guys got frying down, you've got scrambling down, so we're gonna cover some of the more finicky preparations. So, before we get into it, let's quickly review the rules. We have a new rule today. First rule, we wash our hands. I'm actually going to do it because I haven't done it yet. Wash our hands. Rule number 2, play nice. Stay chill in the chat. If you don't have anything nice to say, you are now dismissed. This is a constructive teaching kitchen. I aim to keep it that way. So if you don't have anything nice to say, we'll see you later. Get back to work. Third new rule, silence your phones. We never even thought of it. So it's just nice, you know, when you've got a lot of devices in the room. Anywho. Phones are silenced, people are playing nice, hands are washed, let's do it. Okay, let's start with, what did I say? We're gonna start with poaching. Hey Instagram, YouTube, are we YouTubing also? The gang's all here. Okay, we're gonna start with poaching because we've got like some fancy footwork and the timing to deal with. So, Phil, Rebecca, come with me. Okay, this is gonna be poaching station. Now, for whatever reason, poaching has become like very intimidating to people, but literally, and I don't usually say that, literally if you can boil water, you can poach an egg. Or rather, if you can simmer water, because that is the key. Okay, Phil, come in. This is a rolling boil. See all those like bubbles, 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 bubbles? That's actually not what we want to poach. What we want are more like champagne bubbles. We want little streams like tickling up to the top. So I'm just going to turn this down a little. This is actually perfect. We'll see if it stays this way. Phil, can you get like a tight close-up of these? See these guys in here? It looks almost like, I don't know, the bottom of the ocean when you see those deep water dive movies. Things are happening, but it's not too rough, okay? This is not the surface of the ocean. Okay, so I've got simmering water. I like a medium pot. I don't want to poach too many eggs at once because they're hard to keep track of. It only takes 2-3 minutes to cook, for the egg white to cook, because I guess we should back up. What is a poached egg anyway? It is this. I made one ahead of time. It's an egg in its self-contained shell. Okay, so the white gets firm and cooked, the yolk, so you can see it, loosey-goosey and soft in the middle. Delicious on top of salads, even on toast. You could cut it up and toss it with spaghetti, whatever. We'll cover that later. But that's what a poached egg is. Rebecca asked a great question yesterday, like why would I sometimes want, like what's the benefit of a poached egg versus say a soft-boiled egg or like a 6-minute egg, which are kind of the same when the white is set and the yolk is still runny. I would say, well, the shell is the thing. So if you don't want to deal with shrapnel, you poach. If you are having like a beautiful egg cup breakfast situation with toast soldiers cut up, go soft-boiled. I think it's really about presentation. That's what I'm going to say. Okay, so my water is now no bubbles, so I got to turn it up a little bit. That's all this is, and honestly, that's most of what cooking is just like keeping track of stuff, watching the heat, making adjustments as you go. Don't stress about it. So we're going to poach, I don't know, probably 4 eggs. I'm going to show you a quick trick first. See how this carton of eggs has 6? I use 6 for something else. Now, I can put this in my fridge like this, but dead space, dead zone. Why don't you rip the carton in half? Saves you some real estate in the kitchen. Everyone is still safe as can be, right? Seems dumb, very clever. Okay, also these are recyclable. You guys should know, flatten them, put them with the paper. Okay, now, you'll read on the internet that if you add vinegar to your poaching liquid, which does not have to be water, by the way. You could poach in stock, veggie, chicken, whatever. You could poach in milk, in cream. Ooh, delish. We're just, for these purposes, for learning, we're going to just poach in water. But that said, when you poach in water, people will say if you add a little vinegar to the water, it helps to coagulate the whites faster. And like theoretically, this is true when you think about ceviche. It's the acid that cooks the seafood. So it's like the acid is kind of cooking the protein, cooking the whites. I don't think it's necessary. The thing I think is necessary for super tidy whites, which is kind of just like, it's a little fussy. You don't even have to do this. But straining the egg before you poach, okay? So this is just a slotted spoon. There's nothing fancy about this, okay? So one hand cracking because I'm a show-off. Let's try again. Crack it right into this slotted spoon. Now you can see the thinner white is dripping down, right? So if I just went straight into the water, these would be like the spindly, spider-leggy whites, right? But because I'm draining it, these will likely stay behind, okay? So that's all you have to do. Then the second kind of fussy steps, and you guys know I hate fussy steps and unnecessary ones. You want to transfer your egg into its individual cup. I know it seems silly, but this is also the difference between like a tidy, beautiful poached egg, like this one that I made. We're not sure how good this is going to turn out, but that one did. This is the difference, keeping it tidy. Also because if you crack right in here, it's scary. That water is very hot. Egg shrapnel, bad idea. So I'm just going to go ahead and strain a few more eggs, crack it right into the spoon. Remember, the waterier whites dripping through, and then it'll keep the sturdier white behind. Now, here's kind of a hard thing to remember, but I know you guys can do it. Fresher eggs are better for poaching. Why? Because the whites are sturdier. As they age, all of this weakens, just not to get too sciencey on you, and the whites become watery, the yolk breaks more easily. So you want the freshest eggs you can find for poaching. Look at the date on the carton. Guilty, I never do it. But if you know you're buying eggs specifically for poaching, check the date on the carton and get the freshest ones that you can find. Now, the tough thing is older eggs are better for boiling, which we're going to get to in a second, because they're easier to peel. Okay, so you just have to kind of know what your plan is and then shop accordingly, okay? So you guys can see, like, I'm not actually losing that much, just like very thin tendrils. You don't have to go in this kind of cup. Any sort of like small thing, easy to handle is great. Ramekin, whatever you've got. But this definitely makes things easier. One more. Drain the white. I will say poaching is maybe, I can't think of another way to say it other than like, it's kind of the most anal retentive of the egg cookery. But I like poaching because it slows me down. I'm paying attention. I like taking the extra steps. You know, you want to eat, you're starving, go ahead and scramble right in the skillet. That's fine. But if you can take the time, the poached egg is just like a sophisticated alternative to turn an egg into dinner. Okay, so here's your setup. We've got our simmering water. This is like a little aggressive. I'm going to turn it down just a touch. I've got my egg set up, and then I have paper towel lined baking sheet. It could be a plate. I don't really care. But this is your landing pad. So when the eggs come out of here, we're going to go straight here. And you can hang out here for a little bit while you like dress your salad and whatever else you're going to do. Toast your toast. But you can also make a big batch of poached eggs in advance and keep them in ice water. We'll cover that in a minute. Okay, so I've got my nice champagne bubbles. I'm going to go ahead and give my water just like a little swirl, just like a little stir. It doesn't need to be too aggressive. You just want to kind of agitate it so it's moving around in a circle. Phil, can you get in? Phil, get in here. So you can see, and ideally that would have, my water's like a little low, but see how the swirling action of the water helped to corral any of those loose whites around the yolk. I mean, is that the most adorable thing you've ever seen? Okay, now, this is why I don't like to do too many at once, just because they're hard to keep track of. Now this guy maybe is sort of kind of sitting on the bottom, which is bad. That's my fault because the water wasn't quite hot enough. As the eggs go in cold, they're going to lower the temperature of the water. So it's just, you know, think of this guy as your first pancake. This is your snack. You don't have to serve it. The other reason good to keep the water moving, because if not, the egg will settle on the bottom, and just like anything, the bottom will cook faster than the top, so you have a little uneven cooking. It's kind of fussy, but it makes sense. Okay, so that guy's in. We'll probably check him in like a minute. Gonna give it another stir. And my other egg goes in. See how I bring the cup close to the surface? It's not like a high dive. That's not the idea. You want a small splash and just an easy dismount into the water. And that's it. This is poaching an egg, and now you just wait for it. This, you guys know I'm all about using your inactive time. 2-3 minutes is all this is going to take. I would say don't walk away here. Don't walk away mad because you don't have that much time to kill. Now, I had another slotted spoon. Here. Back to a slotted spoon. You could, of course, rinse the first one that you used to drain them, and then you just fish it out, just like that. Blah, blah, blah. Now, if you were ready to eat, if your salad was good to go, blah, 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 get any extra water off, right onto your salad. I'm going to come back to it because, you know, we got stuff to do. But you can see white is like nice and firm, but not too bouncy. And see my yolk is still giving in there because it's still nice and runny. Okay, so my water, again, getting a little rough. So that's the only thing with the poaching is you got to keep an eye on your water temp. But that's it. Are you guys still scared? I didn't think so. Like anything, guys, you just have to do it. You just have to try it, and you'll see it's really not a big deal. And then this guy's ready to come out. So it's the other good reason to kind of pace yourself and do just one at a time. Like, you know, if we were singing Mary Had a Little Lamb in a Round. Remember that from 3rd grade? It's kind of like that. So one guy's ready when the next guy goes in. One guy's ready and the next guy goes in. So I'm just going to give my water another stir. Last guy goes in, and we're good. Okay, so those are almost done. While that is happening, I'm going to boil some eggs. Okay, now here we have a dozen eggs. I'm actually going to reserve 4 because there's like a cool trick I want to show you later. Okay, I've got 8 eggs going in to this pot. Now, same situation. On the internet, you will find lots of different ways to boil an egg. And they're not like right or wrong necessarily. I just think there's some that work better for you or me. So I like to start my eggs in boiling water. Now, a very common hard boiling method is to start your eggs in cold water, bring it up to a boil, turn off the heat and cover it, and then start the timer. I don't know anyone who's actually seen the water come to a boil. I'm like in the other room, I'm like texting. This is a much safer way for me to keep track. I'm gonna need my phone because I need a timer. Is this the best thing that these have timers on them? Okay, gonna get it set up. Now, we're gonna start at 12 minutes. That is my preferred amount of time for a hard-boiled egg. Guys, I have a perfect looking poached egg in here. Look at this. Look at this. He's beautiful. It looks like the baby Jesus. I know it's off season, but look, see? Little baby in a little swaddle. Okay. And then this guy, last one to go in, this one did not fare as well. We're gonna put him back in, but his friends look so beautiful. Okay, so dropping eggs in. I like to lower them in, you know, like if Ms. Spider was around, I might use her. But I just wanna lower them in. Again, don't go tossing them in, they'll crack. So yeah, Phil, you can squeeze in here. So I'm just gonna do 8. Now, we're gonna do soft boiled. Oh my God, oh, these are okay. These came with another carton of eggs that exploded. These are actually okay though. Okay, and then I gotta set the timer. Hold on, we do it. Start. Okay, so in 3 minutes, I'm gonna pull the first 2. That is a soft-boiled egg. Do you see, guys, how this is not a big deal? It's just setting a timer. You don't need to guess. So we're gonna do 2 at 3 minutes, 2 at 6 minutes, 2 at 9 minutes, and 2 at 12, and we'll look at the difference, okay? So, Rebecca, let's take some questions.
Why are there so many different theories on the internet about how to perfectly poach an egg? Between dropping them in cold water, steaming?
Why are there so many theories on how to poach an egg on the internet? Well, one, because it's the internet and it's an open forum, thank goodness. However, this is foolproof. It's easy, and it takes 3 minutes plus however long it took you to boil water. Now, people will also tell you about like beautifully poached eggs that take 45 minutes with a sous vide machine. Cool, David Chang, do whatever you want. I don't have that kind of time. Or equipment or room in my home kitchen, okay? So there's, you know, my feeling with cooking and so many things, just because we can doesn't necessarily mean we should. The path of least resistance is usually the way. Right, Sam?
Yes.
Yes, she agrees. Okay, I'm just checking my timer. I'm not being rude. Go ahead.
Susan wants to know if you can firm poach an egg.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you firm poach an egg was the question, which I think just means not a runny yolk.
Yeah.
Yeah, just keep it in the water longer. And you'll see, like once you start to practice, you know, you can tell when the yolk is firm. Oh my gosh, you guys. In fact, I accidentally am firm poaching this egg. Perfect. So you can see, actually, this is a great lesson. So all I did was leave it in the water, but see how you can, the yolk is opaque there? So same diff as boiling, just no shell. Got it? Longer. Okay. Next question.
We know that you put vinegar in the poached egg water. Did you put it in the water that you're boiling too?
No, guys, I did not put vinegar in the poached egg water. That's the whole thing. You don't need it. You can put it in there, and people will tell you have it. Try it. If you find that it works like remarkably well, do it. I think it adds flavor, and I want to be the boss of my egg after I poach it. So I don't think you need it. Do you see these perfectly poached eggs? No vinegar. Look at it. No vinegar, only straining. I think straining is the big diff. And obviously, like, these are organic materials. There will be irregularities. It's not a big deal. Like, unless you're serving, I don't know, the president of France, it wouldn't really matter. And even then, he'd be like, okay, more questions.
Okay, so
I'm checking the timer. Checking the timer. 9 minutes. Okay, so that means it's been 3 minutes, right? So I'm going to take 2 out of here. This one kind of cracked, so I'm going to take him out. So I know his friend here is going to be good. Now, into ice water. See this? I got my ice baths all set up. Why ice bath? Because it stops the cooking. Okay? Same reason you use it when you blanch vegetables. You want to take the raw edge off, but you still want them to be crunchy. So when you drop them in ice water, it cools them down really fast. Because remember, carryover cooking is real. That's why you let your meat rest, and that's why your skin still burns after you touch a hot thing. You're still cooking. It's gross, but it's true. Okay, so I'm just going to let these hang out in the cold water until they're cool to the touch. Couple minutes. And by that time, we should be ready to take out our 6-minute, our 6-minute egg. Ooh, this is hard to keep track of. Am I doing it right? Yeah, that was 3, and then this will be 6. Whew, boy, math, backwards math. Okay, more questions?
Okay, so I think you're probably going to get to this later, but Carrie, I believe is really into, Carrie wants to know about peeling, which I think we'll probably touch on later, but.
Carrie, we will absolutely talk about peeling when we get to the hard boiling part. That is one of the reasons why using older eggs is better for boiling. Again, there's some sciencey business involved about the proteins weakening that connect the shell to the white, and that's what makes it easier. I'm not going to get into it because I have not researched the details. But trust me, like when you're peeling eggs and nothing is going right, it's not your fault. It's the egg's fault, okay? But I'll show you a couple tricks later that make it a little bit easier. I'll tell you one now. It's easier to peel underwater. So either under the faucet, under like a little cool stream, especially when the water gets between the shell and the white, that tends to make things a little bit easier. And again, you'll see lots of gadgets on the internet. I don't think you need them. You guys know I don't do gadgets. Other questions? All right, we've got 30 seconds for the next batch.
Okay, can you poach eggs ahead of time? If so, how long do they last?
You can absolutely poach eggs ahead of time. Sorry, I'm just being paranoid, so I'm watching the timer. You can poach eggs ahead of time. I wouldn't hold them for longer than like a couple of hours. So if you wanted to poach them ahead of time, blah, 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 right into ice water. Just like this, just like maybe a bigger bowl. So just like ice and a little bit of water, it's gonna keep them cool, stick it in the fridge, and then when right before you're ready to serve, you go back in your pot of simmering water. 30 seconds until they're heated through, and you're good to go. Okay, I think we're good. Yeah, we're good. Okay, 2 more. 6-minute egg. Now, the 6-minute egg should have a nicely set white and a runny yolk all the way through, kind of like the poached egg, okay? The 9-minute firm white, I'd call it a jammy yolk. So it's set, but it's still sort of translucent. And if I nail it, you'll see what I mean. The 12-minute egg is going to look like your sort of traditional hard-boiled egg. Hopefully no gray ring. That's a sign of overcooking. But just that pale yellow, opaque center. This is my choice for deviled eggs, for egg salad. 9-minute egg could definitely work for egg salad, just not my preference. I like something with, when the yolks are like a little more set and offer more body. Otherwise, when the yolks are jammy or runny like this, they really turn into more of like a dressing and act like, you know, an emulsifier like olive oil, mayonnaise, something like that. The 3-minute, this is your soft-boiled egg. This is like cutting off the top, sticking in a cute thing, and eating with toast. I wish that we had one. Does somebody want to look in the back and see if we have a little soft-boiled egg cup? Let's see. Watching the time, 4.5 minutes. Okay. While we wait for this, I want to try this funny thing. And this I read about, not on the internet. You know where I read it? In a book. Wow, old school. For all of you food science nerds, or just if you're very curious, this is the Bible. If we're like, how come the sky is blue, but you know, like in the food realm? Why does vinegar work on the eggs when you're poaching? Harold McGee knows all things. So I was doing a little research pre-show, and he talks about this fun trick you can do with a tall pot like this one. Now, in this case, I have added vinegar and salt. This is more like science fair, 7th grade kind of thing. The salt and the acid, I believe they create carbon dioxide. So he says you can drop your eggs right into the boiling water. They'll sink, and then when they're ready, they'll pop up to the surface like a submarine. Okay, so we're going to try it. I'm going to get close. The other thing, you know, we actually haven't talked about it in a while is 5 senses cooking. And all I mean by that is like I can tell that these eggs are getting more solid all the way through. It's like, you know, when you like make a thing with your stomach and you're like, yeah, this is hard. This is solid all the way through. These sound not hollow, if that makes any sense. I'm taking these 2 eggs, put them in my 9-minute bowl, okay? So now I don't have to stress. When this goes off, it should be at hard-boiled, okay? Timer's going. I'm going to set this aside. Okay, let's see if this works. I'm scared, and I've never done this before. So this is, they say about a half tablespoon of vinegar and a tablespoon of salt per like quart or liter of water. So that's what I tried to do. Let's see if it works. Egg in. He did. He went all the way to the bottom. Oh, you know what I didn't do? Strain these. Oh, Phil, hold on. I'll put the book away. You guys get it. This is your Bible. So I didn't strain this egg, and I can already tell the whites are kind of all over the place. So let me quickly strain this one, and we can see. Remember those watery whites coming through. Now, this, I even tried this earlier. This does not work with a fine mesh sieve. This really only works with something with a little bit bigger holes. So it's kind of easier because sometimes I think the fine mesh sieve is a little bit of a specialty equipment thing. Okay, guys, can you see this? So I've got 2 eggs in here. They're kind of like swimming along the bottom. And theoretically, when they're ready, it's happening. He's going to bob to the top. Oh. It's kind of happening. I sort of thought that he would stay at the top, but do you see how he's sort of blowing bubbles and coming to the top every time? It's kind of cool. And I think ultimately that means like all the air has cooked out of there and the white solid to the yolk. Does that make sense? It's fun. Can you guys see? What are you guys doing over there? What? Oh, you found a cub.
We're trying to.
Jerry and Natasha are sneaking around behind my back. This is great. Let's try this. So let's see if these fit for my soft-boiled eggs. Yeah, pretty much. We'll try it. Okay, how are we doing on time? Did we get the one? Or are they still both in there? They're both in there. I'm going to pull them. This is kind of a fun thing for kids, no? With the eggs bouncing around. Would your kids want to see this? Mine's too little. She doesn't even know about eggs yet. I actually kind of like the shape of these. I'm going to leave that one in and see if he actually bobs to the top and stays to the top when I'm done. Okay, in the meantime, let's pull these eggs. 12 seconds. Ooh, she's good. Okay. My last 2 eggs, remember, these have been in for 12 minutes. I started them all in boiling water. That way, I knew exactly how much time they were in there. Ooh, snap. Okay. Soft-boiled eggs, that's 3 minutes, right, are not to be peeled. These are to be cracked open and then you scoop out with a spoon. So let's see if I can do this. I'm just going to do it, and hopefully no one will get mad. Sometimes you'll see, like at a fancy restaurant, tea or something, you'll get a little, like, cutter. Is the thing. Thanks, Jerry. So let's see how I did. So I'm going to just, like, tap, tap, tap across the top. Oh, see. Now, maybe this could have gone a little longer, but then you just peel it back. And there you go. So I've got my set white, and sorry, barely set white. So we've got some a little bit runny. My yolk is still runny, and this is perfect for dipping in buttered toast points. You know what this is also? Inspiration for the Cadbury cream egg, right? Let's see, this one had cracked a little bit, so we'll see what happened here. The main thing is, like anything, just don't panic, guys. Oh yeah, he's pretty good. A little bit messy with the crack, but you guys get the idea. So you're dipping the yolk, you're going back in there with a spoon, salt and pepper, never hurt anybody. Okay, now, do I have anything over here? I do, I have 1 egg. Yeah, okay, so they don't bob up and stay up. These are the learnings today. But he just kind of comes up and down when he's ready. I would say this is probably more of a hard poach, Susan, this guy. I don't know, it feels pretty soft in there still. Okay, we're gonna leave that on low because we're gonna reheat in there. Okay, Phil, let's peel some eggs. Okay, this is not fancy. This is how I like to peel an egg. Tap, 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 tap. Just loosen that shell all the way around. And you can already see, this isn't science, like this is just me doing it a lot. There's like a little bit of air between the shell and the white, okay? And then you just get it going. Like I said, it's a little bit easier in the water. This bowl is a little too small for my hands and the egg, but this is going pretty well. It's going pretty well, but I want to get in here and see how I did with my runny 6-minute egg. Now, what do I use 6-minute egg for? I like it on salads. Anytime I would want the yolk to sort of enrich whatever it was I was eating. So do you guys know about like a traditional frisee salad? You get it, you know, like French bistro. You've got usually like bacon lardon. We're going to make a riff on it here. Bacon lardons, a poached egg. Now, when you cut into it, usually if you taste the greens on their own, they're very kind of bracing and acidic. Why? Because when you cut into the egg, that yolk mellows, the fat in the yolk mellows and enriches the super acidic vinaigrette. Make sense? Okay, let's see how he did. I feel like I nailed it. Pretty pretty good. I've got a little bit of like darker yolk here. Can you see, Phil? So I'm gonna say like maybe my time was a little bit off, but it actually just looks like it was sitting in the pot weird, because this side is very runny, and that side is a little more solidified. But you guys get the idea, right? So you can do this in your ice bath, like I said, the peeling. Thanks, Jerry. Oh, here, Jerry saved the day. Okay, bowl of water. It's just a little easier to peel in here. Now, like I said, if you go to peel and there's like all the egg white is coming off, that's not your fault. Those are just fresher eggs. And so I would say, like, you know what? Abandon ship. Let's poach some eggs instead. It's fussy, but like, especially if you're entertaining and wanted to be sure, boil one egg first and see how you do. If it peels easily, great. Go ahead and devil those eggs. If they don't peel nice, maybe go ahead and poach. Okay, let's see how I did with this guy. Cutting eggs, same kind of thing as like cutting brownies, like clean knife, okay? And you gotta be confident with this guy. Let's go the other way. 1, 2, 3. Ugh, pretty good. I'm just gonna take the bottom off so he sits up straight. Okay, this is my 6-minute egg. Got it, got it. Okay, now let's go 9-minute. Now 9-minute should have like a set but translucent yolk. If I nailed it, you'll see what I mean. These are peeling perfectly, thank goodness, because even though I'm talking about it now, I didn't think about it because I don't do a ton of prep for this program. That's how I live, just rolling with it. Okay, peeling this. So see how on the edge, I know you've got that kind of darker opaque yolk, but just inside of there, it's set but still bright yellow. That's what we're looking for here. Did we do it? No, guys, we didn't. This is a little overdone. So maybe the learnings here are it's more like an 8-minute egg. Or maybe my water was like a little too rocking and rolling. But you guys get the idea? Phil, can you come in here and get close? Ideally, my 9-minute egg would look like this solid yellow but still translucent part, which makes me a little nervous for my 12s. But we'll see how we do. But I will also say this, none of these are wrong or bad, and they're certainly not inedible. So it just takes practice. Again, knowing your equipment, knowing your eggs, so don't freak out. Just eat them. Salt and pepper, great. Okay, so let's see if this one was any better. And another reason to kind of like time yourself, pull some at 8 minutes, pull some at 9. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, a little over, I admit it. This is a nice hard-boiled egg, I would say. Let's see what happened with 12. I don't even know. Now, you see how I was a little more aggressive with that one? I know because the yolk is definitely sturdy. So it's like tap, tap, roll, and I'm good. To usually, and see like it just pops off like this. I didn't even need to do a lot of work. Ooh, that was satisfying. So these I would say fine for deviled eggs, good for egg salad. You know, I went a little overboard. But you guys get the idea. It's just a matter of setting a timer. It doesn't require any special skill. But what are we going to do with all these eggs? Well, I'm going to show you how to reheat the poached ones, and then we're just going to make a quick salad. Because everyone, it sounds like, was dissatisfied with their lunch today. So we're going to give them a little bit something to snack on. Do you guys have any questions about the boiling, about the peeling, about my timer setting skills, which apparently could use work?
Do you think it's because of the amount of eggs? Does that make a difference, or no?
Not necessarily. If anything, Rebecca asked, is it possible that the number of eggs made a difference? I would say if anything, they should have been undercooked, would have been my expectation, because that many eggs would have lowered the temperature. So I can't really tell you, but yeah, see? So we just like a little off, but I'm not upset, and I'm certainly not ashamed. This is not that kind of program. Okay, so we've got 3. 6 is looking pretty good. 6 is like a sexy egg. 9, maybe a little over, so maybe I'd go 8 next time, looking for that set jammy center without too much runniness, and then the 12. Okie doke? Okay, now quickly to finish it, where can I find a home for all these eggs? On like a really nice, tart, acidic, crunchy salad, right? The eggs are soft, the eggs are tender, the eggs are fatty. So we want something to contrast that. That's kind of like salad 101, is a combination of textures and flavors. So I'm just going to wipe, there was just, you know, the ice in here. Quickly to review vinaigrette, those of you who followed along this week at John K. Perry. This is like my favorite go-to vinaigrette. I got a little shallot. You can use a little red onion or scallion, whatever you want. I'm going to chop it. Now, I like to build a vinaigrette in a jar. Super easy, no whisking required, and then I can just stick it right in the fridge. But we've got a bowl so we can use that, and that is just fine. I also like to make a really big batch once a week, and then I have it all week. It is the key to eat, for me to eating vegetables. And then we're just going to give it a chop. Just like it was a big onion. I like the palm of my hand because my finger. Oh, look at Jerry. He got a jar. Perfect. So I'm just chopping this like I would a big onion. No big deal. Come back through. This doesn't have to be perfect. Let's do the whole thing, because actually we'll use this all week. Okay, coming back through. Do you guys remember about the onion show? We did some parallel cuts, perpendicular cuts, and then straight on down. And you've got like a nice fine chop. Okay, due to laziness, I'll put that there. My other shallots, I'm going to put in this jar. This is perfect, this like 16-ounce wide mouth, just because it's easy to get in and out of. So a little bit of shallot in there. Like I said, you could use scallions if that's what you had. You could use like a little bit of red onion. They're going to be sharper than shallots, so you may want to dial it back a little bit. And guys, no measuring. I like a lot of mustard. Dijon, does this, oh, it does fit in there. Okay, a little bit of Dijon, I'm going to say like a good spoonful. That's probably a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons, up to you. And then typically I like to put a little bit of honey in, but because we're going to dress a salad and finish it with these jammy, rich eggs, I'm going to chill with the honey. The honey is going to balance the acid in the vinegar and the mustard, but we don't need it because the eggs are going to do that, okay? Now, the great thing about building this in the jar is that I don't have to measure. You know why? There are measurements on the thing, on the glass, okay? So this is a cup. Then the whole thing is 2 cups. So I'm going to do vinegar to like here, which is technically like a ½ cup. But you know, I've got the other stuff in there. Laws of displacement suggest that it is actually less than ½ cup, but it's okay. Point being, I want about 1/3 acid, vinegar, lemon juice, whatever, and 2/3 oil, okay? We got some salt. And we got some pepper. Don't be scared. This is a lot, guys. This is not salad for one, this is not dressing for one salad. This is dressing for the week. Okay, preliminary shaking. Lid on tight. Oh. What's happening here? Ooh, we got 2. We have 2 of these. So you know what else? This used to be pimento cheese. How delish. Okay. Let's try this again. Okay, preliminary shake. Screw it on tight, you guys, because I've been there and like sad news for the kitchen. And see how it's like nicely emulsified in there? Okay, now all we do is add the oil. Now, Rebecca noticed, like, whoa, that's a lot of oil when I made this on the internet. But like I said, this is salad dressing for like several salads, okay? I like a more tart vinaigrette. So I like, you know, 1 part vinegar to 2 parts olive oil, but that's up to you. If that like bites back when you taste it, dial it back. Maybe do like a quarter part vinegar to 3 parts, sorry, 1 part vinegar to 3 parts oil. Does that make sense? So like a quarter is the vinegar and 3/4 of the oil. You don't have to even think about it because the jar does the work. You see? Okay, and give it a shake. Some salad dressing recipes will tell you like whisk in oil slowly until emulsified. Don't bother, just do it in a jar. This is not about like perfecting a technique. This is about getting dinner on the table with ease, grace, and having a good time, right? Okay, look, salad dressing for the week. Guess who's gonna come running for that tomorrow? Sam. Okay. Sam did her homework. It's true. You know why? Star student. Guys, let's make it competitive. Okay, so I've got my greens here. Traditionally, if we're even calling it that, this type of salad is made with frisee. That's like the crazy-legged lettuce. I've got curly kale here, kind of same dip. It's sturdy. It has flavor on its own, and it's not going to wilt under what will probably be like a warm egg and, surprise guest, bacon. I made it before you guys got here. Now, in a salad like this, you could certainly use some of the bacon fat in the dressing. I'm not going to worry about it today just because I just made that big thing. But this is like all there is to it. So I have my bacon. I actually baked on a rack this time. Why? Because it was a big batch and I didn't want to be hanging out over the stove while I was doing other stuff. Do you see? Do you see how that's like basic brunch prep, like baked into this lesson? Like a secret? You paying attention? Good. Okay, so I'm just going to tear some of this up. Not too much, maybe like this much. Tear it up, chop it up, whatever you want to do. Absolutely skip the bacon. You know what would be good in place of bacon? Mushrooms, for the veggies out there. Let's do like a little more. We want to save like a piece for everyone to eat on their own, because that is part of the point of making bacon, is bacon snack. Okay, so we got our bacon. We have our nice tart vinaigrette. Let's give it a taste. I actually didn't do that. Rule number 1 or 4 of however many rules we got today. But guys, it is absolutely important you want to taste everything before you serve it, especially if you're serving it to other people. You know, if they're forgiving and they don't care, it's pretty good. I would actually say I could use it more tart, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. But I'm going to give it just like another good stir. Things are kind of settling. The other thing to keep in mind, look at Sam. She actually brought it in the jar. Let me see. Guys, this is the kind of class preparation I'm looking for. Okay? Next week, I want to see you guys here with hard-boiled eggs. Okay? Or soft or whatever.
This is why no one liked me in middle school.
But guess what? It's paying off now. Okay, point about the vinaigrette. The oil will solidify, especially if it's like pure extra virgin olive oil, will solidify in the fridge. Don't panic. You've done nothing wrong. All you have to do is run it under a little hot water or stick it in a bowl of hot water and it'll loosen up. Okay? Bye, Sam. Thanks for coming. Okay, so I'm just going to dress this a little bit. That's like a good place to start, because remember, like some of my eggs are going to offer some additional fat. And I'm just going to give this a toss. You guys like don't necessarily need to learn how to toss a salad. I know you guys know how to do that. Just want to give you the idea. Now, but while we're talking about it, dressing a salad, you can always add more. You can't take it away. So err on the side of less. You can always add more, and you can always like leave it on the table. Okay, so we're ready to serve, right? I got my poached eggs hanging out there. Plate ready. Plate ready. My guests are seated. My salad is plated, okay? This is the other thing. You guys are crazy if you think that chefs and stuff aren't using their hands in the kitchen. They are. It's the best tool you've got. And they're clean, remember? Okay, salad is plated. But DP, my eggs have been sitting here for as long as you've been talking, which seems like forever. No big deal. I'm going to take my poached egg. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, it should. Nope. Oh my gosh, what if I ruin the whole show? Gently peel it away from the paper towel. I'm going to pop it back in this warm water, and that's it. Let's see, can I get this guy out? Perfect. The other thing you can put these on, an lightly oiled sheet tray, and they definitely won't stick, or parchment paper. Ooh, yeah, that water is still hot, so I'm just going to give them a little dunk. Let them hang out for a little bit. Touch, and it's like very nicely warm. Now, blot, 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 back. I'm going to put it on top of my salad. Okay. Let's get this guy. This is my perfect numero uno. Okay. Okay, now, don't forget, we want to season with S&P. You know what eggs love? Salt and pepper. Both, like from a nerdy food styling perspective, I wish I had like a coarser grind of pepper. Actually, while we're doing it, because I will take a picture of this and I will put it on the internet. If you guys want to know some nerdy stuff about food styling, hand crack your pepper. It's something that only the pros know. Because unless you have a very specific pepper grinder, which I do at home, you're just going to get these like bits and pieces which look fine, but see how much nicer that looks? A little contrast, a little irregularity. Ooh, DP, she still got it. Okay, ready? Now, which one do you want to cut into? I think maybe this one. He's almost too perfect. So, for lack of a better knife, we're just going to use a big boy. Okay, you ready? This is the big finale. Did I do it? Ooh, mamacita. Everybody get your iPhone. That is a perfectly poached egg. Okay, so the boiling didn't necessarily go as planned, but the poaching, I nailed it. And that's the point. Guys, go to realsimple.com. I told you all about how to poach eggs. I know that Brooke dropped the link in the comments. Have some eggs for dinner this week. We've done frittatas, you could do that. Maybe boil something, make an egg salad, or just boil a handful for snacking through the week, grab and go breakfast. Or make this beautiful lardon salad, okay? Have a great week. I'll see you back here next week on Valentine's Day with a very special guest. We're gonna be making cookies, so I'll see you there. So long, bye.